So welcome everyone, I'm Madals, and for those of you who don't know, this is Go for SC2 Monday. 75 euros on the line. This is the semi-final and we're in game number 2. Whoever wins this guarantees themselves some prize money. At least 25 euros. For the player spawning down in the bottom right, he's Norwegian, and I am assured that the cost of everything there is through the roof, so 25 euros may buy him a glass of water. He plays for Team Liquid. It is Snute. And to the top right, the red Protoss playing for Team Liquid. It is MaNa. I was only half joking about a glass of water costing a lot. It is Norway that is the European country where everything's really expensive, I'm sure. And like cost of living is through the roof. I might be wrong. And obviously I doubt a glass of water would actually be 25 euros. But beside the point, what these two are really playing for is to get into the finals. Because while there is the 75 euros, 50 for first, 25 for second, it guarantees you, if you win it, a spot in the monthly 16-player invitational. And that is just absolutely fantastic. Because it's 16 players, 600 euros on the line. And it's just some great games. It's a single in bracket. It's relatively quick and simple. The September monthly finals are actually going on tomorrow. So if you're tuning in live now on my Twitch channel, I'll be here from 7 PM Central European Summertime to cast the September monthly finals, which will be awesome. Anyway, check in what these two are doing. Gate first, pool first, nothing crazy. Both being a little bit safe. MaNa opening actually identically to game number 1. Going to be going for that gasless Nexus off the gateway. So nice and safe. Karmabot in my chat saying there, saying favorite attack is Crucio's shock cannon from the siege tank. That is very, very cool. Twin Ibex cannon, the Goliath. I love some of the attack names. What's a drone's attack name? Claws. Okay, that was massively anticlimactic. I was hoping they'd have something awesome, and it's just like a drone's attack. Claws. It's like what did you think it was going to be, man? Of course it's going to be claws. It's not like they've got much else to them. Wing wobble. Maybe go through a whole Pokemon thing. Splash. When you level it up, it becomes a giant dragon. Anyway, third hatch coming on down now. This is all looking good at the moment. So yeah, this is nice times. Very similar to the first game. Snute again getting this gas nice and early just to get speed down again. And I actually quite like this. I think this is a really nice addition. This speed just gives you quite good map control. Means that you're safer if anything comes. Means that actually Snute is able to skip the Roach Warren quite often. So, pretty interesting. I realised right before we started, I said I don't think we'd seen Catalina in the pre-game. But we had, of course, in the last series. So my memory really did fail me there. Snute was up against first, and this is where there was the sentry drop play. So that was pretty nice. Anyway. A couple of Zerglings have managed to sneak their way into MaNa's base. They just come on up. Don't really see too much. They see the fact there's 2 gases. The Overlord just comes and double checks that. Probably going to take a look at how much has been mined, etc. But yeah, that's all nice. Otherwise, Snute, his third's nearly finished up. He's also pulled all the drones this time out of gas, rather than keeping just one in. Speed on its way down nicely. So yeah, this is all looking pretty beautiful actually. I really like the way these two are going about this, and all while it sticks, this should be opening up very, very similar to the previous series. Again, we're getting the Forge, actually. This hasn't been seen yet by Snute, so isn't aware. And actually, last game, it really paid off for MaNa. Getting that Forge down early just meant that he was sitting there with a good upgrade lead throughout. It didn't really help him because he didn't have enough splash damage to deal with a slow battering from the swarm hosts, but still. It can be nice if he goes for a slightly different composition. Not going to be able to get this Overlord. That's a bit of a shame. I think he's... Anyway, actually does. Wow, okay. I was, like, convinced that that Overlord was going to be able to escape. This one... Is this one going to be able to? It should be. If not, that's a big shame for Snute. No, it is going to be able to get away. Okay, never mind. Zergling, though, has managed to breach in, sees the Forge. So this is the important scout for Snute. And the reason this scout is important is not so much that he's going to be massively panicky about the fact that +1 is being researched, but it tells him that gas hasn't been spent elsewhere. There's not going to be an imminent attack from, say, Robotech, Twilight Tech, or Stargate Tech. Sure, Stargate is now coming down, but it's delayed because of this Forge coming out so early. So he's adding in his Roach War, and he's also going up to his lair, adding in an Evo, plus additional gases everywhere, apart from the third, so not everywhere. And this just means that he's overall getting up to a very nice composition that should keep him solid throughout this game. Probably going to go for the Hydra Den again, off once Lair's finished, because Roach Hydra is just a solid composition. Also shows Snute is quite diverse in his strategies. He doesn't, even though he's so ridiculously good at the Swarm Host style, he doesn't drive it to death. He's just like, okay, I'll bring out Swarm Host this game and then go into a Roach Hydra, which is a lot more common. And that's actually something I really credit to Snute. Having that versatility in your build orders and actually your overall play style can be hugely effective. So an Oracle now coming down here for MaNa. This is a good map for Oracles, as I mentioned in the previous series. With first, there's tons of dead space around, easy to dart in and out. You can play relatively safe and get a good amount of harassment through. I think that was a Zealot maybe going down. Was it a Zealot? No, it was a Probe. Okay, Probe just got taken down there, but got a good scout. Note that actually there isn't a Hydra Den. He's going to be going into the Infestation Pit, so this is pretty interesting. We may again be seeing Swarm Hosts, but with the Roach speed coming down, it just doesn't really make sense. So I'm interested to see what Snute's going to be doing with this, because previously when we did see Snute go for Roach Hydra, he goes for the Roach speed, but when he goes for... Okay, there we go, there's the Hydra Den coming up. Deciding against... No, he does still have the Infestation Pit coming, okay. Interesting order of things. Basically what I was saying was, when we've seen Snute go Swarm Host, he doesn't bother getting Roach speed because it's not needed. Interesting times. Anyway, taking a quick look up here. Voidway coming on down now for MaNa, so that Oracle hasn't been able to do much. 3 kills, not too bad. 2 of those are on workers. Does he see the Roaches? No, okay, doesn't see the Roaches. The Roaches just coming in a little sprint attack over here. Note the Mothership Core though, sitting up there with full energy, so can Photon Overcharge nicely. These Roaches probably not going to be able to achieve very much. Just looking about, seeing what kind of army's in position, but all in all, the Roaches are just going to be a little bit irritating. And they actually head straight up into the natural. That's why we're seeing a couple of Stalkers warp in here. They'll be able to fend this off. The Oracle also trying to come on through. An Oracle trying to pick away at these Roaches would take a long time and not really be the most efficient use of its energy. So instead, just going for a Revelation on it, just to keep a good eye on everything that's there. Now, Snute is really confusing me. He's going for the Swarm Hosts, despite having got the Roach speed. So, yeah, I'm confused now. Is my honest answer. I don't understand why he got the Roach speed. Because if you're going into Swarm Host, Roaches don't really play a part in that. The Locusts fulfill the role of the Roaches. You get a couple of Hydras, as we've seen Snute do last game. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he does with this. Could also be running into some problems. How many Swarm Hosts has he got? Not many, actually. Oh, great Force Fields there from MaNa. He's going to be able to catch some of these Swarm Hosts. I don't think he's got an Observer with him, though. No, he doesn't. He doesn't even have a... Okay, he does have a Robotic Facility, but no Observer yet. That means that these Swarm Hosts are completely safe. They're just going to be sending wave and wave and wave of Locusts through. This is buying time for more units to get pumped out. More Swarm Hosts are actually coming. Upon seeing that, nothing there. The Oracle is going to finally get enough energy to use its Envision, granting a detection, so we'll be able to take down these Swarm Hosts. Swarm Hosts just reburrowing themselves, trying to get a couple of Locusts out to buy themselves some more time, but MaNa pushing on in, able to get some good snipes off there, picking off a good number of those Swarm Hosts, knowing that he's got Snute on the back foot, continuing on forward, going to be able to take down some of these Swarm Hosts. Drones being pulled, which is never a sign of things going well for a Zerg player. He's allowing a couple of these Stalkers to get killed, but a lot of Swarm Hosts also getting picked off. Snute pulling those drones has bought himself some more time, certainly. But is he going to be able to get enough Swarm Hosts out in time to defend this base? If he keeps the fourth, losing those drones isn't the end of the world. Importantly, there's no Envision left, but the Swarm Hosts aren't burrowed. That means that 3 of them get picked off easily, taking the count only to 5. Good more number of Speedlings actually coming through. This is a nice choice by Snute. He's also adding in some Mutalisks, trying just to chip away. Importantly, a couple of Queens are in this mix as well. They're going to be very potent, as we've seen in the previous series from Snute. He's a big advocate of pumping out a good number of Queens, using those transfuse beautifully. MaNa pushing in though. Actually going to blink forward aggressively. Needs to be careful here because the Locusts and Lings are going to be chasing. Another time we're being forced to use. Note that the Oracle has been able to trigger the Envision ability again, granting another minute of detection. These poor little swarm hosts going to die defenseless underground. Locust though pop on out there, allow a couple of those stalks to get picked off. Mothership Core gets taken down, that's a nice little pick off. And so does the Oracle. That's an even more important pick off because there isn't actually an observer. Second robotic facility gets made, the observer finally coming on through. But still taking a lot more losses this game. You can see he's already lost 4,000 more resources. His economy is still solid, just needs to be a bit careful. Lost his main. Okay, this is a big problem. That was obviously from the warp prison. I apologize for missing that. I was so preoccupied with these stalkers. Losing his main base is a big problem now for Snute. He's only on 3 bases effectively. Oh, good little blink train up into the main base. This should be able to pick off the stalk. The Mutalisks, if they're not careful, that rebuilding main is also going to run into problems. The natural could be running into problems. MaNa is now in an amazing position. Like, this is ridiculously good for MaNa at the moment. Down goes that natural hatch. He's blinking back again. Void Rage is buying a little bit of time. Stalkers can also start working away at this 4th base from the high ground. Blink is now back available so they can continue going for it. Snute, if he turns this around, it will be an absolute miracle now. MaNa has played this so well. This is what he was trying to achieve last game up against these swarm hosts, was just kind of hit them before they got into a sizable number where they become almost unstoppable. And instead just nip him with the bud. He's gutted the economy of Snute. He's going to take down this hatchery as well. The Rotoron now dead. This hatch won't finish. With +2, these Blink Stalkers are just ridiculously effective. No cancel even came down there from Snute, who's now really hurting. He's massively supply block losing these Overlords. And for Snute, unfortunately, it's becoming a bit of a matter of time. He just doesn't have any money here. He doesn't really have much in the way of units. 9 swarm hosts are okay, but realistically, what can he do with them long term? A couple of them also at risk of getting picked off. The Observer, of course, is here. MaNa being so proactive with these Stalkers. Just going through, picking away everything that he can. Good damage coming on by. Even though quite a few of these Stalkers are getting picked off, the fact that the Swarm Host count is being kept under control is more important to MaNa at the moment. He's transitioning into getting out a good number of Colossus, double robotic space facilities, pumping those out. So gonna quickly get a decent count, and as long as that Swarm Host number doesn't get extreme, which of course it can't now because Snute's down to basically 2 mining bases, simply means that once the Colossus come out in sizable numbers, Snute isn't going to be able to deal with them. He won't have the volume of Locusts each wave to force away the Colossus. So a few of these Zealots now trying to engage. Of course, they're not going to fare too well up against Locusts, but all in all, Snute is clawing his way up the side of a very steep mountain that he has to reach the peak of if he wants to try and get back into this game. Stalkers getting a little bit overconfident there. These Speedlings and Queens could pose a problem, but we're in the nick of time. In comes the Colossus. And with the 2 Colossi, this could be it. Snute, he's got 9 Swarm Hosts out, which to be fair are quite threatening anyway. But MaNa, he's got his 4th base. He has misclicks that these probes over, but he's on 4 bases against a 2-base Zerg effectively. Snute trying to re-establish his natural and main, but he just doesn't have the drones to go there. He's down to 52 drones. Even a Dark Templar being thrown in the mix, and if I'm not mistaken, there's no detection. So a couple of spores are there, which will try and help, but the Dark Templar waiting patiently. Down goes a lot of this. The lair morphing here, that's not going to survive for very long. And yeah, this should be game. Unfortunately for Snute, MaNa just caught him before he was able to get up that critical mass of units. A few more shots coming on through. The Locusts attempting to do what they can. The Swarm Host count has actually got pretty sizable, 16 of them, so it will be difficult long term or short term for MaNa to push through this just because of how many Locusts are now coming. But if Snute somehow manages to make this work, it would be an absolute miracle. He's so far behind at this stage. He's doing everything that he can, though. He's retaking his main naturally. He's got some drones there. And sure, Swarm Hosts are actually a very, very effective way to buy yourself a lot of time. But there's no Locust out at the moment. Here comes forward the Protoss army. 2 observers just staying over the top there, picking off a good number of these Swarm Hosts. They're trying to work through them as quickly as possible. There's the GG, and MaNa will level out this series to make it 1-1.